Welcome to the United States of Small Business, a podcast where the essence of American entrepreneurship is celebrated in every episode. With host John Quick at the helm, join us as we embark on a journey through the heart of the nation, uncovering the inspiring stories of small business owners from coast to coast. Experience the vibrant energy of bustling cities and the serene beauty of small towns, all while discovering how individuals are turning their entrepreneurial dreams into reality, even against the greatest odds. Each episode brings you face to face with the dreamers, creators, and doers who form the economic backbone of our country, all sharing their spirit of innovation and resilience. Whether you are in the early stages of sowing the seeds for your own business, scaling new heights in your current venture, or simply captivated by tales of grit and triumph, you are in the right place. Tune in on platforms like Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and beyond. For deeper insights and to connect with the heart and soul of America's main streets, visit UnitedStatesOfSmallBusiness.com. Subscribe to United States of Small Business with host John Quick now and be inspired by the powerful stories of entrepreneurship, community, and the unwavering pursuit of the American dream. Begin your journey of inspiration with us today.
Welcome to the United States of Small Business podcast, where we explore the journeys and innovations of remarkable entrepreneurs. I'm your host, John Quick. Today, we're thrilled to have Jeff Maine, founder of Pay Proudly, join us. Jeff has transformed the payment processing industry by moving from transactional to relational, creating a platform where every transaction supports a charitable cause. In this episode, Jeff will share how he started Pay Proudly, his mission to provide business owners with clarity in the payment processing, and his unique approach to integrating charity into every business. Get ready to be inspired by a model of entrepreneurship that truly makes a difference with every swipe. So without further ado, Jeff, welcome to the United States of Small Business podcast.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you having me on your show and looking forward to sharing our story.
Yeah, this will be fun to hear your story. First off, tell me how you started Pay Proudly. I think it's always fascinating to hear folks' stories on why and how they started their business. Give us that story. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so I went to school at St. Louis University, studied finance, and I was always an entrepreneur. Just always, even through high school, I cut lawns and and washed cars and just did whatever I could do. I was always hustling to try to make a buck, and went to school and studied finance. Had a job offer coming out of school with one of the major consulting firms, working in PeopleSoft, actually, an HR product. But during college, I had done some credit card processing for a company out of Austin, Texas, just getting my feet wet, learning the business. And by the way, this is back in the mid 90s, so it shows my age today where I'm at. But when I was graduating and had that job offer, probably the best advice I've ever had in my life, my dad looked at me, and he was a corporate America guy, his whole life. And he looked at me and said, Jeff, he said, you can always go get that job. He said, it's you want to work for yourself. You're an entrepreneur at heart. You right now, you don't have a family. You don't have bills. Come live with me and start a business. Just start something. Just think about what you want to do and take the risk today while you can take it and you can afford to take it. He said, you're going to take that job and you're always going to make enough money to never branch out and take the risk, and he said, you're going to be in the position that I'm in today. And which is not a bad spot, but he's just, pushing me to jump out and follow my dream. And I said, well, I've been thinking about that. And, I know this credit card processing business. What do you think about starting a credit card processing company? And he's like, let's do it. So he helped fund my first company right out of college, set up a bedroom in the upstairs of his home. And that was my office. And we went to work and started selling processing. And, and that was the summer of 1999. And since then, we've owned and sold and built, 4 or 5 different processing companies, an ACH company, and which kind of all morphed into Pay Proudly. And we were in a partnership that we did a separation from. And my wife and I had the idea of, hey, we know the business. We're going to stay in this realm of business. And she kind of sat down and we were sitting there talking, and she's like, what's the big pain points in the processing world? I told her, I said, well, one is just clarity. I said, a lot of these guys, we get into this space and we just try to go build the masses, right? Sign and go to the next guy, sign, go to the next guy, sign, go to the next guy. And I said, I'd really like to build a business that we're more in touch with our customers. We're more of a consultant. We know them, they know us, and we really offer a level of service that they've just never had before. And so I said, I'd like that to be the first part of our mission, really just bringing clarity to payments, right? Just really working with the business owners and continuing that relationship, not just signing them and leaving them, signing them and answering the phone when they call and being in their business and making it a priority to talk to our clients, because face it, that's what's paying our bills. And then the second part of our mission that it was something that was important to Renee and I, was to have a give back program. And that's where Pay Proudly came in. And we wanted our merchants to pay proudly. That's how we came up with our name. We take 10% of all of our earnings and we give it back to nonprofits. And we do that on behalf of our business owners. And we tell our business owners, without you, we wouldn't be doing this. So because of your business and because of the transactions that are processing in your businesses, we're able to support nonprofits. We're into the six figures now that we've given back to organizations in 3 years. I mean, we're doing, we're doing what our mission said. From the first dollar we made, we're giving that money back. And what's been really interesting to us is it was a vision for Renee and I, something we wanted to do. But what we found is people want to work for us because of that. Business owners want to talk about it. It's become a very big staple in our business. And where we kind of don't want to talk about it as owners, we just want to do it. Everybody else wants to talk about it and they love it. And it's become a big selling point for us and a big recruiting point for us. So it's been magnificent. And here we are 3 years into Pay Proudly, and doubling every year and just growing our business. So growing a small business, we don't want to be real big. We want to have our niche and we want to continue to grow and continue to do what we do, but we want to continue to do that in a way that we can know our merchants and them know us.
That's cool. I think that's something to be proud of, giving back. It adds another layer into a business that most people don't have. So I think that's pretty awesome of y'all. So kudos for y'all doing that. I'd love for you to give folks kind of like a 30,000-foot view of what does a payment processor do, because I think a lot of folks assume, isn't that what Visa does? Or they don't. People don't realize, myself included, until I got to know this firsthand, that really every business needs one of these services. It doesn't just happen magically. You don't get to wave your Visa card in the air and have your customers buy something from you without this exact service. So what does it do exactly?
Yeah, and I think one of the big mistakes is banks offer this product, but they don't offer it in the form of clarity that we do, right? Because it's what we do. We know the product. Bankers know how to give loans and open accounts and do that stuff. And this business is not a one size fits all, where a lot of people think it is, right? It's based on your business, what type of credit cards you take, and that's what we do. We come in and look at a business and we want to know, what are you selling? How are you selling it? Are you, what kind of customer, who is your customer? All that stuff's important, because we need to know what type of credit cards you're going to get, because based on if you're taking corporate cards or if you're taking a lot of reward cards or debit cards, or how you're and are you swiping those cards? Are you keying those cards? Are you taking them on your website? What are you doing? And that's where we really want to dig into your business and say, hey, here's options for you, and lay out different options that tailor to their business to make it the best fit for them to be able to take credit cards for payment. MasterCard and Visa, people think they control all of this and that they control the rates and the fees and everything that are being paid. Really, they don't. They have very, very little to do with it. These card issuing companies are who's setting the fees that businesses are paying. MasterCard and Visa are just getting assessments. They're getting a flat assessment off the top for branding, and that's what they're doing. But all these card issuing banks are setting them, and there's hundreds of categories of different ways, that credit cards are processed and paid for. And, I can take 5 credit cards out of my wallet today, John, and I can pay you with those 5 different cards for the same exact service, but your business pays a different rate on each of those cards. Most people don't realize that. But if we set you up properly, you're going to get the best effective rate on each of those cards that's possible to be given. And that's what we're really looking for with business owners is we want to sit down and say, how much do you take in credit cards? What do you total pay? What is that effective rate? How can we lower that? And how can we give you a better service to be able to more easily take credit cards? Do you need to take them from cell phones out in the field? Do you need your website to take them? Do you need a point of sale system? Do you just need a machine? What do you need to be able to be most successful in your business? And that's what we want to do. We want to come in and really look at the whole picture and give you the best product.
That's awesome. So what have been some of your biggest lessons learned? You've built, started, and sold several of these kind of payment processing companies. You have one now that kind of focuses on going deeper as a business as opposed to just making money. So, but what's some of those lessons you've learned along the way?
Yeah, I think, in any business, we were talking about this morning. So this is just top of mind right now, right? There's a lot of lessons that we all learn and business ownership. But one of the things that we were talking about this morning that we've gotten really good at is, marketing is probably the most important thing that any of us do in our business, right? Of how we market and what we do, and just setting clear deliverables to yourself on everything you do. Write it down, know what you need to get from it. And if you don't, and know when, we say, hey, if we're gonna run this campaign, we're going to spend this much money. We're going to run it for this amount of time. And if we don't have this return at month 3 or 4, whatever it is, we're going to cut it and we're going to go to the next product. And as business owners, that's really hard to do because we always want to keep trying, always want to keep digging and, oh, I can make this work and I can figure it out. But we think a whole lot clearer today than we're going to think once we're dug in. And if we set clear expectations and we write it down and we follow it and we teach our team to do that, we'll save ourselves a lot of time and grief. And that's what we've found. But that's a huge lesson that I've had to learn the hard way many different times.
So let's say, we're going to have folks listening in on this and think to themselves like, wow, this sounds cool because I just use my bank and they don't really care about any of the stuff that Jeff's talking about. What's your typical onboarding process look like for somebody that, emails you or calls you and they're like, want to switch payment providers or whatever? What is that onboarding?
So we work really hard to make it a very, very smooth transition, right? Because we don't want you to ever be in a position that you can't take a payment. That's number one to us. And so we work really hard to say, okay, continue to do what you're doing today. Let us get this new solution set up, get you completely installed, and then let's transition. Let's start, and we do this every day. We're transitioning businesses every day from their banks to us. And that doesn't mean that you have to switch your bank. We don't want you to switch your bank. We're going to deposit that money in your bank. And a lot of times, most times, we're able to deposit the money faster than what your bank is doing. So, we can do next day deposit on pretty much any account that signs up, and we're close to doing same day deposit. So, there's ways now that you can batch and the money's available in your account immediately, or you can batch and tomorrow morning when you wake up, it's in your account. So a lot of changes are happening in our industry, and we work really hard to make those transitions because we know if business owners struggle through a transition, we're not going to sign new business. So we want to make that as painless as possible. And we know change is hard, change is scary, and we're dealing with your money. It's a whole nother issue, right? But we're going to work really hard, and we're going to work right there side by side with you to make that transition as smooth as possible. And we've gotten really, really good at that. I can say that. And we can give testimony after testimony of businesses that we switch over that just don't lose a beat.
So what's something that folks can do to look to see if they're maybe getting price gouged from their current person that they're using? I think that, people, probably have used the same people that are, let's say have a brick and mortar store, a hardware store or something like that. They probably just use the same payment processing company for the last forever, never second guessed any of the fees or the percentages or whatever. What are some of those things they can look for to see if they're kind of getting taken advantage of, and the right questions to ask.
Yeah, and exactly what you just said. The people who haven't looked at it in a long, long time need to take a look at it. We do annual reviews with all of our merchants every year. It's one of our ways of touching our merchants, right? We want to give them an annual review. We want to talk to them. They even get a little annual gift from us every year from just thanking them for their business, right? And but we've created a completely AI driven product that we can take your credit card processing statement, we can push it through our AI product, and it can read your statement, it reads what type of credit card you're doing, it reads everything. And within about a minute, we can produce a proposal that comes back and says, hey, here's where you're at in rate, and here's where we could have you by changing these little things and doing this and that. And that's a free product that we have. And we offer that to anybody. And so, I would tell all of your listeners to give us a call. Let us run that proposal for you. Whether you do business with us or not, we'll give you that proposal back. And, worst case for us is that you just take it back to your current provider and you get them to match our program, right? Best case for us is you give us the opportunity to earn your business, and we have that conversation with you, and we open up some other doors that you may be interested in, and we start giving back because of your payments to your local charities, and we have a great relationship. But worst case for us, we give you that proposal, and you take it and go get better rates and save money. And so we're more than happy to do that for any of your listeners that want to give us a call and let us run their statements through our generated proposal.
That's awesome. So we'll put all the links in the description for folks listening in. Just click on the podcast description. The links will be in there. Jeff, what's some advice you'd give to folks? We live in an awesome but sometimes strange world that, tremendous opportunity, the phone, the iPhone, and that somebody can make a living on their phone basically. But and you also have the other side of the coin where people want to make $1 million and be the CEO 4 minutes into a job. So what's some advice you'd give to folks that are maybe just starting out, right? It sounds like you really grinded for a lot of years, took a risk in college with your dad, and it wasn't something that was handed to you on a silver plate. You worked really hard to be where you are today. What's some advice you give to folks?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, even this business pay proudly, when I started it, we had the means and the money to be able to just go hire people day one to do the job. And it was kind of one of those deals, like I wanted to reset, and we started the company and grew it organically. We did not invest $1 in this business. Now, I had the luxury of not having to pay myself, right? But I was the single employee. I did all of our sales, all of our customer service. I dug back in and started a new business just like I did in the summer of 99 with this business, and we grew it, and we hired one employee, and then we hired a second employee, and that's how we grew this business. And it was getting up and coming to work and setting a plan and doing it, and enjoying what you do. If you truly enjoy what you do, you enjoy getting up and going to work every day, right? And doing it. And if you don't, then you're probably going to struggle being successful in anything you do. But it's exactly what you said. It's just putting your head down and putting into the grind, and we can all be successful. But nothing is easy. Business owners that are successful and have successful businesses going, it makes it look easy, and people all wish they would be in their position. But the startups of businesses are hard. It's a lot of work, and there's going to be days that you're going to have to figure out, hey, I can afford to pay this, but I can't afford to pay this, and I got to figure this out. I got to do this, and the overnight success, I know it happens, but it's very, very rare, as you and I both know. But the benefits of owning your own business and being an entrepreneur and seeing the fruits of your labor are just, I could not imagine myself doing anything different. It gives me a lot of freedom with my family. If I can go and be a part of my kids' things at schools, I can, just last week I went and did some college tours with my daughter during the middle of the week, and I looked at my calendar, had a couple of open days, and she was on spring break, and I was able to do that, and I had the ability to do it, and that's the benefits of owning your own business. But you also have to know when you get back, you got to get back in, and or hey, I had to get up, early in the mornings when we were at those hotels and do my email and check in and make sure the business was running at the level that I want it to run at. But I enjoy that. I don't do it because I have to. I do it because I want to. And I think that's the difference, is you just have to make that mindset, right? That you're doing this because that's what you want to get to, and you're working for that goal.
That's awesome. So folks are going to be thinking, where do I find more information? So tell us all those details. Where can they
Yeah.
find you on social media, your website, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff?
so obviously I'm on LinkedIn. Look me up. Pay probably Jeff Maine. My last name is spelled just like the state. Would love to hook up with you, answer any questions that you have. My website, payproudly.com. Email jmaine@payproudly.com. Obviously, we'll put all this in the link to the show, but would love to have conversations with any of your listeners. And I can talk about payments with them all day long. We can talk about business ownership. I enjoy talking about all of it. So am totally open for conversations, totally open to do proposals for businesses and give them and tell them what I think. I've been in this space for a long time. There's a lot of changes in this space, and a lot of people are looking at the differences today of, can I charge credit card fees to my customers? Can I do this? Can I do that? We have all those answers. There's ways to eliminate your credit card fees today if you're in the right business, and we can go through all of that stuff. But we just need to have a conversation and talk through it.
That's awesome. So do you have any last minute thoughts here before we head off? The floor is yours.
Man, I think I just gave them all, but I really appreciate the time. Love talking about what we do, love talking to anybody about business ownership. So, I appreciate your show, John, and what you do, and, bringing all these business owners some new information to listen to.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Jeff, I really appreciate you joining us here on the podcast. For folks listening in, if you just got the tail end, I want to encourage you to go back and listen to Jeff Maine's story on Pay Proudly. It's a really awesome story for folks that have small businesses that are looking for maybe what payment processing does, a look at their fees. I really want to encourage you to check out the link in the description. Jeff has an AI tool that'll show you exactly what you're paying, and my guess is that he could probably beat most of the competition. So we hope everybody has a phenomenal rest of their week. Until next time, I'm John Quick from the United States, a Small Business Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us, Jeff.
Thanks, John.